Hello and welcome back to another episode of our channel. We're just about ready to wrap up for Christmas, so we've got a few more jobs, only a couple of jobs today. Tomorrow is looking very busy, which is our last day. I'm back here in Caerphilly on this one. This is a revisit, which is really annoying because we've already been here twice, so we've obviously been paid. It was basically a 3-port valve needed changing over, and frustratingly, I underpriced it because it looked as though the head could be removed. It looked like one of the Drayton heads. However, it turned out that it couldn't be removed and the whole valve needed to be changed. So we've been called back once over them still not getting hot water. Now we've been called back again now to say they're not getting the heating. So we're going to get in there and see exactly what's going on. Hopefully this is a quick fix because I really don't want to be spending too much time messing around on this one. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. Stick around till the end and we will have a little chat on the rundown on how we've performed this year. Give a summary on where the business is at, and then maybe even a rundown then as to our plans and goals going into 2026. Yeah, so this is what we changed the other day. It's the mid-position 3-port valve, which comes from, coincidentally, it's a back boiler, comes from the back boiler, comes up here through into this part, and then there's just a little ball that will divert the water into either this direction or this direction. You can see W for water, H for heating, and M for mid-position, which will allow it to go through both heating and hot water. But what seems to be happening is, and I think it's going to be an issue with the controller downstairs in the kitchen, which we'll have a look in just a moment, but it's not, so it's now been going to the hot water. So with the 2-channel time clock, both on heating and hot water, it doesn't seem to want to sit in the mid-position place. I'm going to have a look how the wiring's been done. But when Harry changed this the other day, he's basically just wired this in exactly how it was before. So I'm going to have to check over that and see if that's done correctly as well. We got grey. Yep. Yep. Yep, cool. So we're satisfied that everything's working as it should with just heating. Now I'm going to pop it on hot water only, and we'll test again then to see what readings we're getting with. So that's heating off. Let's turn it to hot water only. I've just seen the screen flicker there. This is a little bit loose. You see what they tend to do is they've tiled around this, and you're probably not going to access the 2 screws that hold this on now, but you can see that is not on tidy and is potentially not having good connection with the cables. Anyway, you can see now we've put it on for hot water only, and the diverter valve has stayed on heating. The pump has actually gone off, so it's almost as if it's not picking up demand. So now I'm wondering, is it the cylinder start? But I know the hot water does run when you put it in a certain way. Let's just test. So what we're looking for now on hot water only is to have only 230 volts on the orange and nothing on white and grey. We've got nothing. So that is telling me that something is not calling. There's an issue. My thought would be it's going to be with the cylinder start. Either that or the wiring is done incorrect, which you can see the mess there. nothing is ID'd. That would take some work, just IDing what everything is doing. Or like I said, it could be that 2-channel time clock down in the kitchen that is faulty, not sending the signal correctly. I'm going to try now with both heating and hot water on, because Harry had said the other day when he was here that when you put one on first and then the other, you get it to go onto hot water, but then obviously what it's probably done is gone onto hot water. We're just not getting it onto the mid-position valve, basically. I'm probably going to have to take some photos and evidence of this job, simply because obviously I quoted to change the 3-put valve, which did need changing because the other one was falling to pieces. And it does give hot water and heating, but there's clearly deeper issues here, which I'm going to have to go back to the landlord with, which I'm guessing they're probably not going to be too happy. Right, let's go and see what that's doing now. Heating and hot water. Now we want white and orange. Don't think it's going to be anything. No, nothing. I think there's an issue with the 2-channel time clock. There's a wiring diagram on it. I just want to try and see. The thing is, it's like, how far do you go with doing this now? We've changed the mid-position valve. There now seems to be an electrical fault either with this or with the cylinder stat or something that is not giving the right signals, or the wiring is incorrect. How far do I go when obviously at the minute we're not getting paid, before we sort of go back to the customer or the landlord and say, look, this is going to cost more now for checking the wiring? Because, you know, in all honesty, we could spend like a good couple of hours checking wiring and then figuring out what it is, going and picking up a new stat. Let's try and have a quick look. Okay, so we're heading over now to the second job of the day, which is a drain down of the heating system, change a leaking radiator valve. We've previously been here and changed a PRV on the boiler due to the system losing pressure constantly, and this was evidenced by the blow-off pipe outside having signs of water going down the building. Anyway, since we've done that, they've still been reporting that they're losing pressure. You'll see in a minute, but the house is pretty cluttered up, so every time I asked them was there any leaks coming from any radiators, they'd said no. So we've since done some more investigations and found that one of the radiators were actually leaking, so we're just on our way now to drain down and replace that. It's now 20 past 11. The day, I just don't know where the days go, travelling between jobs. We've unloaded all the rubbish off the van, and we've been to Screwfix to pick up some parts for some of our jobs today. Stick around, and for those of you who have been following us and perhaps maybe watching our videos but not quite decided to subscribe yet, it really does mean a lot to me if you could hit the subscribe button, and then you'll get any notifications then for every time we release new videos. It helps us build out the channel as well. There's a lot of work that goes in the background into this channel, so really appreciate it if you could give the channel a subscribe. I have to go get my grips. So this really old drain off is what was leaking, but I'm going to completely change the lock shield as well, just because it's all so old. To just change that, I'll just be silly not to change the radiator valve at the same time. So what we're going to use is, it looks like they've used a 15 to 10mm reducer in the bottom of the radiator valve, so we'll use a 15mm lock shield valve here. but then to get over the gap that we'll have here, we'll use a extension bar, or we'll have to cut it. Bloody hell. This is driving me mad. So that's job number 2 completed. Really awkward, as you've probably seen on the video there. well, I don't know if we've captured enough of what it was like with stuff in the way, but the actual area where I needed to change the radiator valve, when I originally looked at that, there was a big wardrobe in the way. They've just got so much stuff in that property. When we try to do jobs like that, it does make it so much more difficult when we've got to move items. It might not seem it, moving stuff, adding that much time onto a job, but it really does make our lives so much more awkward to carry out work like that. Anyway, we're on to the third job now, which is an apartment block in Cardiff city centre, where they've apparently got a leak coming from a hot water cylinder. These can be nasty things if these go, because it can absolutely ruin someone's apartment, and not only that, it can ruin people's apartments below. So we're heading over here now as a bit of an emergency. This wasn't planned into my schedule today, to see what's going on with it, see if we can this is always the way as well. When we come into Christmas breakup, everything becomes an emergency right before breakup, which means like we're literally to the bone of finishing time, that we've got to get all the important emergency jobs that can't wait until after Christmas done, which is what we're going to try and do come today and tomorrow. But yeah, keep watching for the next job, see what we find. Okay, so now in this apartment block in Cardiff, the report is, so basically this tenant has no water at all, because this is in a high-rise apartment block. What this system is fitted with, so we have the hot water tank, and it also has a water guard leak detection system. So what happens is if this detects that there's a leak within this system, this here is a solenoid valve which is connected electronically, and it'll actually close the valve, stopping any water then coming out from any of the taps. So luckily the concierge has given me some, they will have O&M manuals, and he's given me instructions on how to try and reset this unit. Hopefully it's as simple as just resetting this. If not, then potentially we're going to have to look at removing the solenoid valve. So you can see there, a lot of our job sometimes is reassuring customers and tenants and what have you, to let them know that there's, because they obviously don't understand these things. Luckily the concierge had these instructions for me, because it allowed me to set up that system, but yeah, sometimes it's just a lot about educating people. So, diner, no rad. Living room, no rad. Kitchen, rad. Question mark, are they gonna even bother having one? What we got there, hot and cold. Coming from up there. Might have to take some photos as well. Okay, so kitchen feeds coming from there. You can see, so you can see that this house has probably been unoccupied for quite some time. This roof falling through and everything. The person who's bought this is obviously doing this as a fixer-upper, with the intention to rent out. So it's just a case of, because this has kind of come to me last minute and they're wanting a price very quick, I need to make sure I'm asking the right questions as to exactly what it is they're looking to have done here. So I can see that we've got a flow and return for this is the only radiator I can see downstairs. Let's just have a look upstairs. See even stuff falling in here as well. Okay, that boiler's gonna have to go. Okay, so you can see here, this is the boiler. This is definitely going to need replacing. Does it even work? Well, it does appear to be kicking in. Does the heating work though? That is the question. I would say this boiler is probably 20 odd years old, so probably look at changing this. So that radiator has been fed back to back off the radiator on the other side of the wall. Not ideal, but I'm sure it's in 15mm, so it probably will work. Yeah, heating system's definitely not working. You can see there. Is that on? Yeah, heating system's definitely not working. You can see there that pipe's been cut, cap ended. So. Okay, so what we're looking at when pricing up radiators going into spaces that hasn't been heated before. This one probably changes for the same size, meter by 600, but I'll make that a double, especially because this is quite a large space. But ultimately in the rooms, I'll measure the size of the rooms, work out the volume that's needed to be heated in there, and then size the radiators according to room volume. On a piece, that nib thing there, so I've got to think, if I'm going to run pipes into this room here to ideally put a radiator under that window, where am I going to pick up the feeds? Because that bay window is probably outside of the house, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to go. So what we got there, living room 3.7, 2.8 by 3.92. So just on to the final job of the day, which is installing a gas hob, and just been reflecting on how 2025 has gone for the business. We took on a new engineer in January this year, and by April he'd left us. Didn't quite work out for him and us. I won't go too deep into reasons why it didn't. But I guess running a business, this is things that you come up against, is that not only have we got to be a right fit for the people who come to work for us, but they have to be a right fit for us. You know, they have to be on board with our, team spirit and our attitude towards doing jobs. So for the remainder of the year, we've worked on the tools with just basically me and Harry, and then just using a couple of subcontractors here and there where needed. And to be fair, in terms of turnover that the business has made, we've done as well as we have in previous years, having 3 engineers. So it does show that if we work efficiently enough, that we can make enough money with just 2 of us. But that is not the plan. We are definitely in 2026, probably quite early into 2026, going to be looking to employ another engineer into the business, and it'll be someone who is going to be fully qualified in gas, plumbing, can do basically everything that there is to do with gas, plumbing and heating. And we probably will train them up as well to do the air conditioning, because that is something that we will heavily hit on come the summer months. And who knows, hopefully going towards the end of 2026 we'll potentially take on another engineer again, or maybe an apprentice. Harry, come next year, we're going to be looking to put him through his gas, so I'm hoping that he can nail his course and then do the portfolio quick enough so that come the end of the year, when the winter season starts to kick in, he's going to be qualified then to be able to start picking up gas jobs. That will just mean that it frees me up a lot more by having a fully qualified engineer and having Harry to then be gas qualified. It frees me up to be more someone who can work on the business rather than constantly being in the business, because then going into 27 we can really then start to look at business growth. And also another thing I wanted to mention that we've achieved this year has been the best boiler contractors of 25. That was a massive achievement for us. it really does put us on the map when people are deciding to choose if they use us or not. They obviously look at our 5-star ratings that we have been growing. You know, they've been really growing really well. We're coming up on getting close to the 100 mark now, and we're going to keep pushing with that. But also, you know, by being able to show and showcase that we won Boiler Contractors of the Year for 25, that has also been a massive highlight for the business. So all in all, 2025 has been a good year for the business.
Is it 130?
Hi there. Hi.
Hi, alright. Hello.
It's the first time I'm seeing you guys. Sorry, I have been in work.
That's alright.
Just this.
Okay, that's it, job done. That's all for us. Nearly wrapped up for Christmas. Don't forget, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to head off home now and see what the missus has made me for dinner. I'll see you on the next one.